live. Welcome, Crypto Warriors, to the Gentleman of Crypto, episode 520. Today is Wednesday, December 18th, and I'm your host, Bitcoin Zay, here to bridge the gap between cryptocurrency and the community, Monday through Friday at 10ish. And today is a very 10ish day. Definitely want to make sure we get these stories in. I have some great news stories for you today, starting with the top story. Monero's Fluffy Pony steps down as lead maintainer of privacy coin project Monero. Justin Sun riles community with $1 million donation to Greta Thunberg. Former Kraken employee sues exchange for unethical and illegal business tactics. And last but not least, Coindesk has released their 10 events to look out for 2020. So we'll go through those events for you today. And I see a lot of people coming in now. Make sure everybody gets in. Monique Michelle, how you doing today? Let's see. No notifications. Not sure why not for that. Let's see. Chris Thornton, how you doing, brother? Yep, been going strong. Hopefully Facebook isn't blocking it or YouTube, but I have been on the book tour. Glad to be back finally on the show. King's been holding it down. Shout out to him. Like we said, the Gentleman of Crypto, we're here to make sure everybody can get their news about cryptocurrency and all things about Bitcoin and blockchain. So here today, and let's start off with our top story of the day. Monero's Fluffy Pony steps down as lead maintainer of privacy coin project. Man, it's been a long time. Fluffy Pony's been at the helm of Monero. If you ever heard of Monero, a privacy coin project. After 5 years at the helm, him as a lead maintainer, he says he's stepping down. He's relinquishing his day-to-day leadership in the privacy coin project. And there is a longtime contributor who is stepping in, who's nicknamed Sniper, S-N-I-P-A. Promise you that is his name. One of the things about Monero being private is that a lot of the people who contribute to the project have pseudonyms or have private names that they use. And right here, Ricardo Spagnani, he is Fluffy Pony. He was sort of the face of privacy for Monero, and he was sort of the face that was out there. However, most of their maintainers are private and they work around the world. So he actually is not done with crypto, so don't let that confuse you. He plans to continue working with Tari, a decentralized asset protocol built on the Monero blockchain. So it looks like he's sort of shifting sideways. And he says here, I'm stepping back as lead maintainer, but continuing on as a maintainer to further decentralize the project. He has been the lead maintainer since 2014. And he's also admitted, if you remember in 2018, he actually said, this role leaves him feeling exhausted. He's one of those people that's worked on a lot of projects, and because the Monero community is really large, he needs his role to be reduced. So shout out to him for introducing Monero, actually getting it out there. For those of you who like privacy projects, that is great for you because it will continue on. Monero is not going away. However, people do get tired. People, maintaining these projects, building a whole new financial market and cryptocurrency market does take a lot of work. So shout out to him for his work, and I'm sure he'll continue on with Tari and keep Monero decentralized. So let's go to the comments here. Glad to see people coming in. Tony Nolly, what's going on, brother? Erica Beach, glad to have you. Clarence Dennison as well. Evan, good morning to you as well. And Barbie 2014, thank you for coming in as well. Like I said before, this is a very 10ish day, but we want to make sure we get you the news today. So let's get into Justin Sun, everybody's favorite marketer from Tron. He riles community with $1 million donation to Greta Thunberg. If you do not know who Greta Thunberg is, she sort of popped up on the scene a few months ago. She's trying to raise global awareness of the climate crisis. Not sure if I really believe what she has to say because she's sort of just been put up to it. And, young girls in pigtails sort of get your emotions going about the climate crisis. It is sort of thrown together. But responding to the watered down results of last year's UN climate conference in Madrid, Justin Sun actually tweeted, as a young entrepreneur, I share Greta Thunberg's passion to change the world. Crypto will contribute immensely on reducing carbon footprint by implementing decentralized settlement. I would like to personally commit USD $1 million to Greta Thunberg's initiative. So if you want $1 million given to you by young entrepreneurs, apparently climate change is the way to go because she has been on the circuit, I think, speaking for no more than 3 months. And I really haven't heard what she's had to say, but I do know politically, if you do want to change hearts and minds, a lot of times using a young child or marketing a young person to speak up on climate change or whatever issue you have will garner this type of investment. I'm not sure exactly why he gave $1 million, but a report from the Financial Times decried a descent into open bickering in the final hours of the negotiations, pointing to lackluster contributions from the U.S. and China. They've stated that they're disappointed with the results of the climate change summit. And they state here the international community lost an important opportunity to show an increased ambition on mitigation, adaptation, and finance to tackle the climate crisis. So it looks like Justin Sun is trying to help there. However, I will say good luck. The climate crisis and the climate change conversation has been going on for about 50 years now. There have been people telling us about the climate since the 70s. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think anybody can save the climate at this point. It's too late. It's going to shit, it seems like, and I believe all this money being invested will not be used to save the climate. The best we can do right now is try and preserve what we have and do what we can and use crypto if possible. But a lot of this investment to me is sort of unwarranted, but I think it is good politically for him. And he is a master marketer. So now that he donated this $1 million, which he can probably just throw away, we're sitting here talking about it. So of course, Justin Sun is good at what he does, and that's what it looks like is going on here. So let's jump into some more people coming into the chat. Dexter Hand, what's good, family? Madam Crypto, what's going on? Hola, hola. Blockchain Shuja, shout out to you as well. Glad to be back. So let's jump into our third story of the day. Former Kraken employee sues exchange for unethical and illegal business tactics. So let's jump into this story. There are a range of accusations, according to Cointelegraph. Specifically, Nathan Peter Runyon. He is a Marine wartime veteran and ex-employee of Kraken. He served as a financial analyst, and he was working under the chief financial officer, Kaiser Nyo. And he brought the case to court, accusing the company of an array of legal violations and falsifications. The first thing he should have brought to court was the terrible UX and UI on Kraken, because Jesus Christ, it's hard to use. But he brought this up, and specifically Runyon accused Kraken of unethical and illegal business tactics. He says that they defrauded employees on stock options, sanctions violations, discrimination against him as a disabled military veteran, and faking officer addresses. So he started in August 2018, and the company allegedly earned revenue from countries in the U.S. Department of Treasury's Office of Foreign Assets Control, specially designated nationals and blocked persons list. That is a hell of a name. I mean, all of these corporations and a lot of these alphabet boys, they have these crazy names. But yes, he claimed that Kraken, they've shorted customer deposits to the tune of millions of dollars, and they did not evaluate their performances. So a lot of times you have employees working without any performance evaluations, and they're sort of just letting them go with whatever they do. That is not good for the company. And because of these accusations, they will be in court. And I'm sure Kraken, they have to come out with a statement. No statement as of yet. Exactly. All of they said is they've discredited the content of the report and said it's not clear what harm could come from watch trading of a pegged asset against this peg. And, honestly, this is one of the accusations that I think will be sort of glossed over because it is an employee. You'll probably pay him off, get him out of here. Like, hey, man, shut up. We'll give you $500,000 to shut up, and he probably will. Unless he really is adamant to get Kraken out of here, I don't think this will be a huge thing. However, it is something we want to point out because in the crypto industry, a lot of these crypto exchanges are sort of unethical. They leave overnight, they take people's money, and nobody calls them out. So I'm glad an ex-Marine is doing it. Hopefully he can get some traction, but I've seen this market long enough to know it may not go that far. So hopefully it does, but just wanted to make sure we shot that out. Let's see who else is in the chat here. Gervais Wright, what's going on? Justin Morrow, cool. Rise up, King. Bitcoin is the future. You are absolutely right. And speaking of the future, let's go ahead and jump into Coindesk. 10 events to look out for in 2020. As you all know, everybody watching, 2020 will be here in 2 weeks exactly. It's come much faster than I've expected. I'm sure you have too. This year blew by, and here Coindesk actually says they have a list of a look forward into 2020 into the top 10 things to look forward to. So let's jump into this list. First things first, the halvening. For those of you who are in the crypto space, you understand the supply of cryptocurrency, the supply of Bitcoin will be cut in half. May of 2019. This is sort of bullish for the space, so that people are trying to buy Bitcoin before it becomes almost impossible to get it from exchanges. So that is the #1 event to look for in May 2020. I concur with that. Second, they have here SEC versus Telegram. Telegram has come out with their initial coin offering. They basically use the ICO model to sell their tokens under the SEC exemption, and it'll be interesting to see what happens, because Telegram thought they were fine. SEC is like, no. However, Telegram was invested in by Russian billionaires, so SEC kind of can't do anything about it. So that's one of the fights they're looking for into 2020. #3, Facebook. Their Calibra launch. Libra project has been discussed. We've discussed it plenty on the show. And I believe here that Facebook will have a push as far as going against the government and the people that are speaking against it to try and release Libra in 2020. #4, recession and volatility. We've discussed the recession. I believe a lot of people watching and people at home who aren't, they believe the recession is coming. So that is something to watch out for. #5, U.S. political parties. In the year 2019, we saw commentary on Bitcoin from the White House and U.S. Federal Reserve. That will be very common in 2020. If you think 2019 involved a lot of the government and a lot of Congress, 2020 is going to be even bigger coming into the happening. Also, #6, off-chain assets. Tether, some of the movements that Tether has had, as well as pegged stablecoin assets. It is one of the things to see in 2020. We'll see how that goes. DeFi adoption comes in at #7. DeFi, or decentralized finance, is the next big buzzword for a lot of these crypto projects, because if we're going to have adoption and move forward, you need to have a decentralized way to have a financial market outside of what we have now. Moving on to #8, central bank digital currencies, which are trash. Nobody really needs them. However, they have become a part of the conversation, also known as CBDCs. Central bank digital currencies are basically a one-to-one peg of the dollar to their digital currency. I'm almost certain we'll see that over the next 5 years. Maybe not next year, but those discussions will go on. #9, institutional flows. It says here, while we have yet to see the approval for a regulated Bitcoin exchange traded funded in the US, other cryptocurrency derivatives, such as Bitcoin futures, have passed the necessary checks. So backed things that are used by the CFTC, anything approved by them, some of these institutional type trading volume platforms will be available in 2020. So we'll see if that money flows into Bitcoin and then flows into the crypto market, or if it is just something that is sort of flash in the pan and doesn't have any significant growth. And last but not least, #10, which was at the bottom of the list, Ethereum 2.0. Ethereum 2.0 is changing their consensus model from proof of work to proof of stake. And a lot of people are excited to see whether or not this design will help Ethereum or hurt it. I believe initially you will have some people push back, but I think long-term it will help Ethereum. So shout out to Coindesk for putting these 10 events to look out for in 2020. For those of you who watch back the show, those are probably 10 things you need to focus on if you want to invest in cryptocurrency and make money for the future, as well as change the financial system that we have now. So some of the comments coming in. Let's see. Justin Morrow, Javier, right? Yep, jumped in there. Let's see. Cheryl Phillips. Hey, how's you doing? Glad you are watching. Glad you're tuning in today. And yes, that is the 10 events to look out for in 2020. Just want to remind everyone, yes, just got off the book tour. This hoodie is available, Bitcoin in Black America, on bitcoininblackамerica.com. We will have a lot of content coming out, a lot of different sponsorships coming this year. Can't wait for 2020. And once again, like I said, just got off the book tour. Shout out to everybody who came out on the book tour in DC, in Charlotte, in Atlanta, New York, everywhere that I've had this book tour. It has been a good reception. Glad to have it out. Glad to be back on the show today. And glad to be moving into 2020 with crypto. So let's see what we have here. Blockchain Shuja. My gut says not to give up on Ethereum. All you hear is news of adoption with that project. Yeah, I will agree there. I believe with the Microsoft partnership, with so many projects built on Ethereum, there's no way you can give up on it. However, most cryptocurrencies are still pegged to the Bitcoin price. They have not separated themselves independently as a company. I believe it will happen in the future, not yet, but as Bitcoin goes, the rest of the market goes. So right now we have a sort of sell-off, sort of sideways movement. In my opinion, it's not really a sell-off, but sort of sideways movement and not much going on. A lot of people are quiet. So this is a good time for you to invest in those cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum. So shout out to everybody who watched today, and we'll be back tomorrow with the Gentlemen of Crypto. Cheers.